Howdy all Moglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. I continue my search for coal. Man, you'd think I could find coal. This is Bernie, right? There's a burning dude. I don't know what this is. Look at this tree. You're a weird looking tree. You weird looking tree. So, while I continue my search for coal here, um, I'm tired. Worked all day, mowed lawn. Our internet was down like all day. I don't know what that was all about, but because of course they never tell you. Um, I guess when uh, so my sister was supposed to work from home today, and so she does a lot of meetings via whatever. I don't know what program she's using. Zoom maybe. I don't know if she's using Zoom, but something like Zoom. Anyways, and there's no internet, so she can't stay home today, so she had to run into her office and work from there today because they had internet, and and so then when I finally drug myself out of bed, um, I woke up and I was like, I don't want to get out of bed yet because I had put in some extra hours earlier in the week so that today would be a short work day. And I'm like, I really don't have to even get started till noon. And I'll still be done in time for 4 o'clock stream. And, I'm like, I'll just watch a couple episodes of anime then before I get out of bed. Because I'm watching Dorohedoro and Astra Lost in Space. And I'm like, I got no internet. Like, okay. So I hop over to the modem, and the modem says, it's connected to the DSL, but there's no internet. I'm like, oh. Alright. So I told it to reboot. And, and it comes back up, and it still says, connected to the DSL, but no internet. And so I got out of bed and get breakfast and stuff, and will you guys get out of here? I am trying to find black rocks on the surface. And so, uh, my SP is CenturyTel, CenturyLink, I think it is now. It was CenturyTel at one point. Um, and, uh, and so I open their app, and the app logs in and stuff, and it says 2 p.m. I'm like, oh, well, it's like 11 now, though. And I don't want to sit around doing nothing. So I tethered my phone and switched to my cell data. Because I don't use it. I don't take my phone. I don't go anywhere. I don't use my phone except for work, so might as well use the data for work. I basically have the lowest plan possible and then just connect to my Wi-Fi all day long to use my phone because I only use it for work. And uh, why I have to use a phone, I don't know, but they're insistent. And so, like, I don't think I've ever taken a work call on it, but I've got one. And uh, so I just use that today to work, and then I get done with work, and I'm like, oh look, now it says 9 p.m. We're not gonna have internet till 9 p.m. Well, that sucks. I'm like, well, I guess I'll go mow lawn. And I'm like, as soon as I leave the room, it's gonna come back on. I know it. As soon as I leave the room. So, pretty much as soon as I left the room, the internet came back on, but I was outside mowing lawn at that point. So there was no streaming till I came back in. But I mean, we're playing Terraria, which is okay, I guess. It's not my favorite, but I'm liking it better than Factorio. It's mostly not my favorite because I don't know what I'm doing, and so I've got one guy who plays it a lot, and one guy who played through it like 2 years ago, and then I haven't touched it since 2013. You know, so I didn't play it that much to begin with, so I have no idea what I'm doing. And so the one guy's just going about doing whatever, not saying anything, and so I don't even know what to do. I'm like, what are we supposed to be doing? I don't even. Well, you should be trying to get your XP or your life up around 180. Don't go over that though, cause that's when a boss spawns. Oh man, where's my bike? I'm gonna die. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then while we're playing today, one of them goes, hey, I got my mana maxed out. And the other guy's like, oh yeah, I'm getting pretty close myself. What's yours at? I'm like, mana? How do I tell how much mana I've got? And like the star on the side of the screen, when you mouse over it, it'll tell you how much you've got. I'm like, oh, I've got 20. And they're like, haven't you been raising it? I'm like, no, I didn't know I was supposed to. And I also don't know how. And like, oh, well, you're supposed to be collecting those stars and combining those stars into crystals. I'm like, oh, well, the other guy said that was for making mana potions. So I was just putting them in the chest. And apparently they were using them to increase their mana. And no one ever mentioned to me that I was supposed to be increasing my mana as well. But I do have a bunch of life. Well, shoot, I think I put my life crystals in the chest too. I had a bunch of life crystals I hadn't used yet because they said don't go over 180. This is some crazy gravel. This is not burn biome, I guess, because I don't see any rocks, basically, let alone black ones. I feel like burn biome would be more black with burn up trees. I can't even stop to look because of the stupid vultures, man. Just go away, vulture. Just go away. Go find somebody else to play with. Alright? I'm exploring. You're annoying. Oh, I need to be over there. I'm not even in the right spot. Jeez. Yeah. So then... yeah. What else is going down? Oh, we played D&D this week. I like to talk about that. My online game has been a lot more vocal the last couple days, so that's nice. They have decided to enter the town of Roswell, and so Roswell is a town that, oh no, crap. This game, nothing is near me, and all of a sudden there's a million things attacking me. One of them, stupid vultures, has probably been following me for 20 minutes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, where was my bed? Right. As far away as possible from my motorcycle. I am 5. I am so far away. Alright, so we need to stop and get any gas. And then I'm going to take my moped to get my motorcycle. But yeah, so the town has fallen into basically a sinkhole, and so it's been rebuilt. It's on tiers, and so they made it into the town itself finally. And I described what it looked like, and the one guy wants to stay there overnight, and I sent a message to the person who rolled good that they would know a little bit about the town because they've been here before. Look at this stuff on the road. Like, of course, now it's not doing it now that I said something, but it was like fading away as I moved. And so they've gone to a junk shop, which to see if there's any items for sale that they might want. Because it's post-apocalyptic, so a junk shop is going to have your quote-unquote magic items. I'll probably give them. I'll probably give them the opportunity here. I gotta see how much money they have, so I know what to price stuff at. I thought maybe there'd be a set of uh, like light slash headset, walkie-talkie things, which would be good because a couple of our characters don't have night vision. Although they probably could get some actual like night vision gear, not in this junk shop. And then I thought maybe the other thing they might have is a sonar pulse mapping system, so that they could pulse and then get a response back on the orb, and kind of give them a lay of the land ahead for a little bit. I don't want to play. Why do I keep bleeding? I am wearing armor. Where are my bandages as well? Like, I don't see any bandages. I was carrying bandages at one point. I must have dumped them out thinking they were... I don't know why. I wouldn't have dumped out. They should be right here. Right where this bullet is. Should be my bandages. So I can stop my bleeding. They are now. But yeah, so I thought those couple of items might be fun for them to get their hands on. And I'm a fan of more utility items than, like super magic stuff. I know in the man, I really do like to complain about our using these D&D adventure books that we use for the other game, but they're really heavily geared toward wizard loot. I don't know how many times you open a chest or something and what's inside are scrolls and wizard books. Always scrolls and wizard books. And here's the thing. According to the rules, only people who can use the spell can use the scroll. So it doesn't do you any good if you don't have those classes. And like our party is like I've said many times, our DM cannot improvise. Um, like we have so much money, and he won't give us anything to spend it on. And I mean, we have so much money. The last quest ended with us getting 50,000 gold coins. We have so much money, and he says none of the shops in the largest city in the world have anything useful. You get some healing potions maybe. What about some magic gear? Like this place should be teeming with things. Well, my guy can make you some magic items. No, I want like obscure things we'll never see that like I was so excited. I never used it, but it didn't stop me enjoying acquiring it. Um, they had a book come out. Um, they had a book come out. Xanathar's Guide to Everything, I think, that had mundane magical items in it. I think it was that book, and we were playing um, Princes of the Apocalypse at the time, and uh, so Prince of the Apocalypse is an older adventure book, and so Xanthar's Guide to Everything was newer than that, and so our DM was super excited to give us access to mundane magical items. And so they're things like armor that gives off smoke, you know, um, clothes that always stay clean, and I never got a chance to use it. I got a compass that I did use quite a bit. Compass that always shows which way is true north, and um, that was a good one. And then because our DM was rolling for what was available, he only let each character find one useful item in the shop. Not give us a list, roll, and then tell us what we found. So we didn't get to shop for it. And I like the compass. That was nice. I don't remember what the other item I would have gotten was. Um, uh, I know one was the compass that always pointed north. Well, it didn't always point north. It was just a magic compass. It would tell you which direction was north. Um, and it's a weird little building. Um, I don't remember. I don't remember because I always play two characters because there's only three of us that play, and so our DM wants to run a character and the other guy runs a character. I think he's gonna run two characters next time. He said so. Maybe I'll just run one character. Um, and because I don't care, I'm easy to get along with for the most part, I guess. Although when I get riled, I do not budge. Um, so his character rolled and got an unbreakable arrow, and he felt it was trash. And I was like, I'll take it. All I could think of was all the crazy things you could do with an unbreakable arrow, and then we never got into a situation where I could make use of. Look, I'm bleeding again. What is wrong with my guy today that he won't stop bleeding? What is wrong with you? You got hemophilia or something? Your armor's not broken. I think this gives you a stamina boost. Uh, Yep, I'm gonna use it. Ooh, I'm feeling rowdy, it says. As I'm just like, ooh, we can find a spot where I use it to block a door from being able to open, because it's unbreakable. Maybe a monster tries to eat me, and I shove it in the monster's mouth. I can't break it, right? Uh, just stuff like that, and it never came up. But I still was super happy about getting it, even though he didn't want it. And so I like stuff like that, stuff that's useful, stuff that not is always going to be useful, but has potential. And I swear, like whoever plots out the treasure for these adventure books is a wizard because all that ever drops are scrolls and spell books. Always scrolls and spell books. And you know what we don't have on our team? A wizard. Nobody nobody can use a spell book except a wizard. That's not true. Like I think like a warlock, a special kind of warlock, one of the types of warlocks could use the spells from a wizard spell book if they're a specific kind, but nobody else can use them. We only get lucky with the scrolls because we have two different casters in our group. One of which gets to choose any class of spells to choose from. And so our DM is like, I'm going to say that because you can choose from any spell list that you can access any scroll. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to argue that. Uh, but it's a dumb reward system, and I don't understand why it's all. What is my. Like, I have never. It's like. It's like. Um, so. So we used to play a campaign, and in that campaign I played a champion fighter. It is still to this day one of my favorite characters to play. I like it because it's easy. I can concentrate on the what can I do to use my abilities a little easier. Because like wizards just have too many ways to just step around stuff, and so it's nice to be like, okay, I'm a fighter. I fight. I get in the front lines. I use my strength. I use my dexterity. What are some tactics I can use? I remember like uh, this one time. This one time we were in a basement, and it was they had a captive in the basement, and we went in the basement, and then the creatures were coming, and we heard them on the floor overhead trying to figure out what was going on because we'd broken into the house, and they were big dudes. I forget what exactly they were, but they're bigger than a person. And so I'm like, oh, quick, you go on the other side, and I'm gonna throw you this rope, and then we'll wait until the first one gets to the bottom of the stairs, and then as he goes to take a step, pull it tight. And so we did, and our strength check beat their strength check or whatever our DM used. I think he let us do a strength check with advantage because they couldn't see it because we put out all the lights, and so we knocked the first mob prone before the fight started. That's a fun thing to do, and so I like stuff like that. And you know what I can't do as a champion fighter or as a battle master fighter, which I don't like. I still don't like. I'm level 7 on this guy, and I still feel like he's not as cool as everybody acts like he is. I don't like the champion fighter has nothing, man. Like the champion fighter is straight up just swing your sword every time, and I found him to be more fun. Um, but reward wise, so we go through, and I didn't know what I was doing. That champion fighter is like my first real character. It's my first 5e character. Let's put it that way. And I'm sure I played a wizard back in like second edition, but we're on fifth edition now. So champion fighter, first time in my reacquaintance with D&D, and and so I didn't know what I was doing, so I chose a human, right? And so humans can't see in the dark, and that's a problem in a game where stealth is important and everything can see in the dark, and you're running around waving torches because you can't go. And so I was forever throwing torches on the ground, and so I talked to my DM about it, and I'm like, when we get to a big city, would it be possible for me to purchase like some night vision goggles? And so I did. He did let me purchase some night vision goggles, and so that was great. He did make me attune to them, which I don't think the actual ones require you to attune to them. So I purchased that upgrade, and then I think the only other real treasure I got fairly early on, and that was a sword that had a chance to do lightning damage, and which is awesome. Don't get me wrong, that weapon was amazing for me, um, but no treasure ever dropped after that I could use. And so all my gear was purchased by me, except that sword. That sword was the only thing we found that I could use. Everybody else is getting stuff left and right, but for the poor melee fighter, there's not a lot you can do. And you know what? I do think. Nope, I'm pretty sure I purchased that too. I did get an upgrade bow, but I didn't use the special features of it because you had to attune it. Because you're only allowed to attune to 3 magical items unless you're the new artificer class. And um, I had attuned to the night vision goggles. I must have had a cloak of protection, and an amulet of protection as well, or maybe a ring of protection. I know I got a couple of bonus points to my AC from jewelry, because our DM liked people to have magic items, um, and so I was wearing some extra magic stuff, but um, I'd used up all my attunement slots, and so I couldn't attune to the bow, but it still counted as a magic bow. So I took advantage of having a magic bow because a lot of the stuff in the game is immune or resists non-magic damage. Um, but still, it's very lopsided. Like you don't get cool stuff really. Um, and that's what I like about playing my campaign here is that whatever I can think of, I can give them, right? And um, so they're gonna get cool stuff in my opinion. Like they got. Oh, look, is this? It's coal. I totally just found coal. I totally just found coal near my base. Where's the mine? There we go. Coal. Isn't that silly? That's super silly. I've been all over the place looking for coal. There was some right next to my base. I'll probably see it all the time now. Now I know what it looks like. There's some lead right there. Man, if we could find some niter right here too. Look, coal. Um, But yeah, I like useful things. They don't have to be powerful. They don't have to be amazing, but they need to be useful. And I don't know. Our DM gives us stuff sometimes, and he's just like, here's this. The only time, like, one time he did make up some weapons for us, and I felt they were way too powerful, and I told him that, and he disagreed with me, and so I made sure to. Those were super annoying, anyways, beyond being too powerful. I made sure to take every advantage then after that, that he wouldn't even discuss why I thought they were too powerful. I just want to give you guys something, really good magic. I'm like, well, some of this is nice, but some of this is like god tier stuff. Because the thing is we watch this D&D show Critical Role, right? And so at the time, they had gotten god weapons that they slowly made more and more powerful, and so he wanted us to have god weapons. The problem is that we weren't progressing through a high level campaign like they were, and so we got god weapons at low levels. I think we finished out at level 12 on that, and then he gets mad because we kill everything we come across. But and then the thing that made me super irritated was that when you attune to an item, you're supposed to know how it works, and um, and so he told us. I don't believe it was true, but he told us that once we did certain things, that we would unlock new abilities in our weapons, and so but they were dumb things like your first time you rolled a natural 20, oh bam, you just unlocked. Why? Because the natural 20, I guess to him natural 20s are super special. A natural 20 just means you hit hard. That's it. Like I don't get it. What other special thing am I supposed to do? The first time you cast a spell on somebody else. Okay. Um but yeah, was a fan. So, man, it's like time to quit. Uh, so we did play last night, and it was okay last night, I guess. There wasn't a lot of, although I do have to say that he sends me a message on Monday. Not gonna be able to play D&D this week. I've got stuff to do, uh, and and so I'm like, okay. And then we also do like the comic book thing, and he's like, we'll be able to do comic book night just much later. I'm like, oh, okay. And so then I sent a message to the other guy that we play with. I'm like, I don't know if he let you know, but he did say that we're not playing D&D this week because he's too busy doing something I thought the two of you did on Sunday. So I don't know why he needs another day at that, because I thought he said that was finished, but now apparently it's not. Uh, and so then on Wednesday, which is the day we play, fairly late in the afternoon, we get a message from him. Might be too busy to play D&D tonight. Might be able to get everything done in time, though. We'll let you know at 8 p.m. I'm like, oh, alright. So, don't know if you made any plans, but whatever they were, too bad. So now you have to sit around and wait on me. to let you know if we're gonna do the thing because your time is not as important as my time. That's how I feel about those messages when he sends them because they happen so often. And so then he I think around 7:30 he sends a message that says, "On my way home. We'll be ready at 8." Well, I wasn't ready at 8. I wasn't even close to ready at 8. I had things to do myself. And so then the other guy joins into the chat, and me and him start up a conversation because the DM isn't there yet. He's in the chat, but he had walked away from his computer waiting for us. And so we were talking, and then he interrupts us, and he's like, "We need to get going, guys." I'm like, "Why? Why are you in such a hurry? We're hanging out so we can finish our little bit of conversation here. We can talk, man. We're allowed to talk to each other." "Well, it's like starting to get late, and he's got to go in like 2.5 hours." And I feel like we can finish our conversation. It's not like we're going to talk for another 2.5 hours, but this is the one time a week we really get to chit chat. So, how about you hold your horses because we wait on you to even start until 10 or 10:30 some weeks. Here we are just trying to have a little chit chatty conversation at 9. I think that's okay. Yeah. So we got going, and um, I can't even remember really what went down. Um, I know he constantly is doing this thing now where he wants us to move into the room before he'll reveal what's in it. I've complained about it before, but it was really bad last night. Like every time we moved our character, he's like, "Just go ahead and move him in the next room, and then I'll tell you what's in there." I'm like, my guy would not blindly enter a room ever. He's a battle master. He's all about tactics. He is going to plan out his assaults. And then we hit level 7 last night, so even beyond that, if I study my enemy for a minute without combat beginning, which will never happen, then he gains extra information. So it's like right in the character that they study the battlefield before they engage. And he's like, "Just move your guys in the room, and then I'll show you what's in there, and then we'll get combat started." Like, uh, and so like one of the things that happened last night that irritated me was we're going through this cave, and the cave opens up, and he's like, "Just put your guys in there, and then I'll tell you what you gotta do." And I'm like, "Well, I don't think that I would enter the cave without checking what I can see first." And he's like, "Well, the guard already rolled, so you're just gonna go on his perception." I'm like, "Okay, but that's not how perception works in real life. I'm not like I'm relying on his perception if he's looking for traps because he's an expert on traps. I'm not an expert on traps. I would not attempt to search for traps necessarily, right? But if something is moving or making noise, I am going to use my own eyes and ears to see it or hear it. And so no, not for our DM. For our DM, the rogue's eye check for traps perception check is what he used to make us enter a room with a creature that he had placed right next to the entrance so that we all had to stand next to it before he would reveal it, which constantly makes noise. And he's like, "You guys rolled really good on the stealth checks, but I mean, you entered the room, so it saw you." We didn't enter the room, though. You put us in the room. You put us in the room. So yeah, if you're a DM, don't make your characters move into the room until They're done making sure the room is safe to go into. They're professional adventurers. They don't blindly leap into whatever is there. That's not how professionals work. Or I can leave across here. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna call it a day. So click like if you like, subscribe, sure, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.